very, very wet. Hello creative souls and welcome to this week's video. It's Monday morning and I thought I would set the camera up in a different spot today just to make things a bit more interesting. I've been faffing around now for about an hour setting the camera up. I've got this special clicky thing that you click so you can turn the camera on and off, and I couldn't work out why it wasn't working, but the Bluetooth wasn't switched on, so that doesn't help. I've also dug out my microphone because I thought I might need to use that at some point whilst filming, because it's a beautiful spring day and we're having some stuff done in the garden, so I don't know how well you'll hear me or whether there'll be any interruptions in the background. I'm just going to click you off again. Didn't work. Let's try again. I'm never comfortable being in front of the camera. I always thought this channel was going to be a faceless channel. However, as time's gone on, I thought it might be a nice idea to be in front of the camera more so you can see the artist. So here I am, and it doesn't feel comfortable at all. It feels very vulnerable. I think a lot of us don't like the sounds of our own voices, and I haven't been in hair and makeup for an hour before I've done this either. This is just me, a bit of a scruff bag. We went to Cornwall for the weekend, so I probably have already put that footage on this video, but I was determined to take my sketchbook with me, and I did. I took this little Sea Whites book. I think it's 14 centimetres by 14 centimetres. It's not very big, but we went to Polperro and the weather was beautiful. It was lovely and sunny, but it was very windy and it was a very choppy on the sea. So I sat by the sea, and I thought I was the only crazy one there, sitting in the wind coming directly off the sea. And with that, two wild swimmers came along with their little terrier dog and walked down the steps and jumped in the sea. I was quite shocked, to be honest with you. But anyway, I sat and I sketched, and a big wave came and got me absolutely drenched, and my sketchbook too. So that's how dedicated I was this weekend. It was just a quick pencil sketch. I don't know how well the camera will pick that up. With the intention of coming back and maybe putting some colour down on it. I think I might put some ink on it as well. But as I always say, I'll see how I get on. This week, I gave you a little, well, actually, let me start that sentence again. In last week's video, if you haven't seen it, then please go over and watch it and have a look, because I was doing some jelly printing last week, which was great fun, and it was really hard for me to get messy, but I really enjoyed it. This week, I'm going to talk to you about a very small Temu art haul. There's art hauls everywhere. I'm not here to sell you anything. This is just materials that I've been testing out for my sketchbook mainly. But I'm holding these. These are Chinese brushes, which I've not used yet, but these were from Temu. I've got some watercolour postcards. Now, I got these last year and never used them. I think they're from Temu. I'm not sure. But they are 4 inches by 6 inches. 25% cotton, cold press, acid free, 300 GSM, and they are literally watercolour paper postcards, and on the front they're blank, and on the back you can write your address and your little message to whoever you're sending your postcard to. So I thought they would be quite fun. And the main thing I wanted to talk to you about today are Marie's watercolours. One of my subscribers mentioned Marie's watercolours, and I'll be honest with you, I knew nothing about them. So went on to Temu, and they sell Marie's watercolours. They sell tubes of paint as well. They've got all of this in there, but I don't understand what it says because it's in Chinese mostly. But these are solid pigments. Does it give any safety warnings? No. I don't know what the light fastness is. With Marie's watercolours, what I did find out is their factory is in Shanghai. It's been going for over 100 years. I think it was first opened in 1919. And they do different grades of watercolours. So they do sort of educational and student grade, and they do professional grade. I couldn't find any information about these. I just know that they're solid pigments with some lovely colours, which I couldn't tell you what they are because, again, they're in Chinese. But they did remind me of the Tanzai Gambi. I always get that round the wrong way. The Kuretake ones, which are Japanese. So I was hoping they would be comparable to these. So I'm going to swatch these and test them out. And they were quite cheap. These were under £10 or under $10. They may have even come in at about £7.50. So we'll see what those are like. Now, unless I edit out the switching on and off of the video, I apologise now, you're going to see me switching on and off with sort of pauses and gaps because I'm still getting used to it. I picked up a Meaden porcelain paint palette. Again, you can pick these up really cheaply on Temu as well. Meaden features on Temu quite a lot, lots of their different products. I like their palettes. So this one is like the one that I used with the gouache paints the other week, where you can fill these little wells up with either watercolours or gouache. But today I'm just going to be using the mixing palette. I got some washi tape. This is just a pretty washi tape, and I tend to get all my washi tapes on Temu. I must admit, I made a bit of a boo-boo because I thought this was going to be a pack of 3 or 4, and it's actually just a pack of 1. So I don't know how cost effective that was, to be honest with you, but it would have been under a couple of pounds. So I've got some pretty washi tape, and then I also found some Stationery Island watercolour paper. This is an A3 one, and this is Stationery Island. And again, the information on Stationery Island is that they do different grades of watercolour paper. I think they do student grade, which is, this is good for beginners and students, and then they do a more professional one as well. But this is cold press, acid free, 300 GSM, and like I say, it's A3, so I'm going to be testing this out as well and seeing if it's any good. The one disappointment I did have, I noticed, is that during delivery at some point it looks like it's been dropped on the corner here, so it's slightly squashed on that corner, which drives me absolutely mad. I am a bit of a perfectionist, but hey ho. I don't know what I'm going to paint. I want to finish off my sketchbook, so I might try these watercolours in my sketchbook. This isn't going to be a long video, so everything will be time-lapsed for you. Right, I'm just going to give these watercolours a spray to wake them up. There is a white in here as well, so I don't know how opaque they're going to be. The colours are really nice, pretty colours. So I'm going to work my way along, and I'm going to start from the white and the yellow and go all the way along to here. I've cut in half a piece of that, what's it called, stationery island paper, because I thought I would use the end with the squashed corner. Not that I'm going to keep going on about it, but I thought I would divide this page up. I forgot to say how many watercolours there are in here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 8, 16, 24. Is that right? I think so. So there's 24 colours here. So I'm going to divide this page into 24 and start swatching. But first of all, I'm going to click this button to switch you off, and I'm going to move the camera so it's here and it's going to be overhead. What a faff. Right, so I've divided the page up into 24 sections so I can do my swatching, and I'm using a cheapy lowly finger brush from, you've guessed it, Temu. This is a size 7, and I'm going to leave the white till last, and I'm going to go straight in with the yellow. Like I say, I don't know what pigment numbers or names these are called, and I'm just going to put a fair amount on. I'm going to rinse my brush and then get some clean water and just drag that swatch out and see how it reacts with water and how transparent it goes. Okay, and because of all the noise out in the garden at the moment, I'm going to speed you up, and to be quite honest with you, I doubt if you want to sit through half an hour of swatching, because although it can be quite relaxing, it can also be mighty boring. So I will indeed speed this section up and come back to you at the end. So there are my swatches, but I've missed one out. I left a gap here for the white, and I'm not sure which one I've missed out. So I've got that bright pink colour, then it goes into the purples, then it goes into the blues. I think I've missed out that that bright blue one there. Yeah, which really is quite annoying because it totally messes up my swatch card, which is really very annoying because the whole point of me doing it this way, so I knew I could match the swatch to the paint colour in the palette. But never mind, it's not worth getting stressed about. Now, saying that, these three blues are so similar. There's hardly any difference in them at all. And the same goes for these greens. They're all very similar. What was I going to do with the white? I want to get my mixing palette. Let's make a grey, shall we? Because there isn't a grey. Normally with watercolour, you don't really use a white or a black. Only if you're a rule breaker. So let's dip into the white. There we go. Make a nice grey colour. And I guess with that white you can make some really nice pastel colours. So that's the whole point of using the white. It's just that I've always painted in watercolour, and so I've always struggled using a white or a black. Okay, so that's my swatches done. They are nice bright colours, but very similar with the greens and the blues. I've just taken a pan out to show you the thickness. And obviously because the names are on here but in Chinese and I can't read them, I guess what you could do is swap all your pans around anyway. Right, before I stop for lunch and go and do some tea making duties, I'm going to get some background colour down onto this sketchbook. And I don't know if you can hear, but the my nose is blocked up in this spring weather, which is also always nice. Is trying to remember the colours that I saw over the weekend, because these are all rocks here with not much green on. This is actually a smuggler's cottage, a very old cottage, and this is the sea with some yellow buoys. So I'm just going to get some loose colour down. Sketching in extreme conditions down at Polperro. Very windy today, but I'm determined to do a sketch. I'm back in the art studio after having some lunch, and I think I can breathe again. My nose has cleared a little bit, so sorry for the nasally voice. This is now dried. It feels a little bit chalky, but you know, they're nice. I'm going to use this pen this afternoon. This is the Pentel pocket pen with like a brush nib, and I've showed you this one before, I'm sure, in another video, but you get the cartridges full of ink that can go in there, and this pen came with 2 of those cartridges. So I'm just going to go over the top in some black ink. I'm not going to fuss too much. And then on the other page is, I did some quick sketches at the weekend of the birds that I could see in the garden. Wren, robin and a sparrow, and I've put their eggs next to them, so I'm going to paint those as well after I've done this sketch. So this brings me to the end of this week's video, and I finished off the sketch, did some pencil work over the top using luminous coloured pencils, and then I did my little garden birds that I saw at the weekend, just rough sketches with some pen and then using the Marie's watercolours over the top. They are a really nice set of watercolours. I can't find any information on them. There's certainly nothing on the website. It doesn't say whether they're light fast, and it doesn't say what the colours are. However, they're from Temu. They were under £8 and they're a super little set of paints. Shame that the greens and the blues are very close together in colour on the swatches, but I did use the white for my mixing for my little birds. The white did come in very, very handy to get more sort of a pastel-y colour or grey tones for their bellies. So that's it for this week. I'm quite tired today, so it's going to be a fairly short one, but I'll be back next week with my travel kit. I am going on holiday very soon, so I'm going to share with you what I'm going to keep and maybe what I'm going to swap out in my travel kit. Have a fantastic week. Hopefully I have inspired you to get your paints out and maybe sketch some garden birds. See you again soon. Sadly, I didn't get round to using these brushes this week, but there'll be plenty of time to test them out.